last summer, this place opened in Williamsville, Kentucky. Has anybody seen this place? Anybody been there? Ron? Anybody else been here? This is this place called Ark Encounter, and it's this enormous park that they've built as a replica. It's supposed to be a life-size replica of Noah's Ark, and it includes all kinds of things. I mean, this is high-end building. This is an entire replica of the Ark. This is then inside. There's museums and there's exhibits and there's all kinds of things about what it could have, in some cases, looked like in places inside. There's also a museum, I guess, connected with it that's like a historical museum that teaches about these ancient stories from the book of Genesis and this time period. And then there's also a zoo that doesn't obviously have the animals that existed during that time, but it teaches about animals from that era, and it is a real-life zoo of other animals. And all of this wrapped around the Ark and Noah. So this opened last summer, huge amount of land, huge amount of attention given to this thing. People traveled from all over the country. They said on grand opening day there were over 5,000 people who showed up, and people drove from as far away as you can get from Kentucky, all over the country. In fact, one news article said that the first person in line was a family from Southern California that decided they wanted to go and be first. So, I mean, huge amount of attention given to this. And I haven't been there to see this, but I read about this and I hear this, and Ron shows pictures about this, and I think, we are so fascinated with the Ark. I mean, there's something about it that would cause somebody to build that in life size. And there's something about that story that is just so fascinating to us. And what is it? I mean, is it the boat? Is it the fact that there was this dramatic flood and it was dangerous and we want to know what happens? Was it just that it's an epic length or epic style story? What is it about the story that grabs our attention? Well, for whatever it is, I'm glad that it does grab our attention, because I think there are some things in this story that really contribute to what we're doing when we're looking through the Bible and trying to discover this big picture about God. You know, this story shows up almost at the beginning. It's the fourth, maybe, major story in the Bible. And because it is, I think it contributes and really adds to our big picture of who God is. And I think better than even some other stories in the Bible, this story teaches us some things about God that are very unique, and some things that help us last, not only in reading the Bible, but help us really have a good, solid relationship with God. So we're going to explore some of those things. One thing I've always said about every story or every part of the Bible is that every story in the Bible teaches us something about God and something about us. So we can always learn something about God and something about us from any part of the Bible. That's true for this story as well. But I think today, at least in this story, we need to lean a little bit toward the God side in understanding some things about God, maybe a little bit more than ourselves. We'll still learn some things about ourselves, but there's a little bit more about God in this story that we get to learn. And I think that frames a lot of things about our relationship with God and how we read the Bible. So even before this story starts, we start learning some things about God. Because the story, of course, is the flood. That's the main plot of the story. But if you're going to have a flood, we've got to have a reason for the flood. So Genesis chapter 6 gives us the reason why the flood even happens. And it starts out and says, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. Is that clear enough? So the problem is evil, wickedness, sin, all the time. And it's just going downhill. It's not getting any better. There's this big, big problem. And we could use the words, maybe some things last week that we talked about, that these people were not only sinning, they were not only doing things wrong, but they were missing this life that God had created them for. They were missing the best that God had created them for. And if they're missing that, then that's the problem. And God has to do something about it. So is this okay with God that this is happening? Well, no, of course not. God is not okay with sin and us missing the best that God has for us. So God has to do something. So Genesis chapter 6, we keep reading in those few verses and we see how God reacted to this and how God felt about this. So the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And I think here's where we get a little bit of perspective on God. When God saw all this sin, and all this wickedness, and all of this evil, and all of this missing what God had in store for all these people, God responded, and God had some sort of a reaction. What does this passage say is the reaction that God had to them? Was God angry? Could be. Was God frustrated? Was God disappointed? Well, what does it say? Was his reaction? His heart was deeply troubled. Have you had that feeling before of a deeply troubled heart? That feeling, it hurts. It's a weird pain that it's hard to describe. You know, when you're deeply troubled, things are not right, and you know it's not, and you feel it. There was something that happened when God felt deeply troubled. And God felt deeply troubled about our sin. And a way of describing this is that our sin hurt God. And our sin still hurts God. It's not just that we sinned and then there was a problem. This passage shows us that God hurt because of our sin. And I think this is where we start reading the flood story. The flood story starts with God being hurt. And everything that happens after that is because God is hurt. If God is hurt, then why does God respond this way? If God is hurt, then what happens? And that's where this starts. When I was in my first year in college, first semester, first year, I had some major roommate issues. I had two roommates, and we were as far apart as you can imagine roommates being. We were opposites in every way you can imagine. Every spectrum, every way, every personality trait, everything. In terms of studying, we were different. In terms of how we wanted our dorm room to be kept, totally different. In terms of when we went to bed, totally different. It was not a match made in heaven. So when I found out that at the end of the semester we were free to shift around our roommates, I jumped at it. And so did they. So we all split up. And it worked great. I chose a roommate and we matched up that we had become friends during that first semester, and we were so much more compatible. I mean, we ate meals together, we had some classes together, we both loved soccer, we both went running together, we did all kinds of things, and it just worked so much better. Well, one weekend, he asked me and invited me to go to his house, his parents' house, for the weekend, and it was in San Diego. So on a Friday after classes, we hopped in somebody's car and somehow made it down there, and we got there late Friday night. We were tired, so we went to bed. The next morning I woke up, and he wasn't there. And actually the house was really quiet. And his parents had been there the night before, but they weren't that morning. And I kind of wondered, well, where is everybody? I fairly soon found out that he, my roommate, had gone to work. And I didn't know he was going to work, but he went to work. So I got in touch with him somehow later that day. This was before cell phones, were the thing. So I somehow got in touch with him. And he said, oh yeah, I had to go to work, and so let's meet up after I get off work. Well, he worked all day, and so it was evening when he got off work, and he ended up going to do something with his dad. And so he didn't come back, and I was stuck at his house all day, and I thought, well, I'll study or I'll do whatever, and so I just kind of lasted the day, and he went off and did this thing with his dad. And, by this point, I was pretty frustrated. I thought, I came here to spend a weekend with you and get a weekend away, and I thought it'd be fun, and now you're just working and going with your dad? And I was hurt. And I realized what that felt like. And I think God is hurt when we sin. When we don't live the life that God wants for us, God hurts. And I love the fact that not only does God hurt and leave it there, but God hurts because God wants so much more. Just like I wanted more for that weekend with my friend, He wants so much more for us. And that's why God hurts. It's not because God's just frustrated that we didn't do what God says. It's that God hurts because God knows who and what we can be because God made us. And God wants more. So much more for our lives. That's why Noah and the flood happened. Because God wants more for Noah and his family and the entire human race. God wants a better life, and God wants more. So everyone knows the story. Noah built an ark. It started raining. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And then the water stuck around for 5 months. And then Noah started sending out a raven and a dove, and finally they didn't come back. Finally the water started to recede, and it had been by that point about a year. A year that they went through this. And then finally, after that happens, Noah and his family come out of the boat, the animals come out of the boat, and this is where we pick up the story. Genesis chapter 9. This is the part that's in your bulletin. God said to Noah, "Now be fruitful and multiply and repopulate the earth. I hereby confirm my covenant with you and your descendants and with every living creature on earth. Yes, I am confirming my covenant with you. Never again will floodwaters kill all living creatures. Never again will a flood destroy the earth." So when God says twice that God is confirming His covenant with us, it's basically like saying, I'm recommitting or I'm restarting a relationship. I'm renewing this relationship with you. I want this relationship to happen, so I'm renewing this relationship with you. And when God does that, God makes this promise: never to flood the earth and destroy the earth again. In other words, in dealing with our sin, God is not just never going to flood the earth. God is not going to destroy things like God did before. Because God did that once, and it didn't work. Because did sin remain? Oh yes, sin remains. And so it didn't eradicate sin from the earth. And it's like God did that, and God said, you know what? I destroyed the earth. And it's not like it's a surprise to God. God knew what would happen, but God decided, I'm never going to do that again, because that's not the solution. God doesn't ever, in the Bible that I've found, want to be known as a God who destroys. God always, however, seems to want to be known as a God who saves. Because God is all about saving us. And if there's ever something that's all throughout the Bible, it's that God is constantly working to save us. God gives us people to help us and give us wisdom. God gives us intelligent minds to be able to work through problems. God wants to always save us from things. And God wants to be known as a God who saves. And saving is all over the story in Noah. God provided an ark to be able to save this family, and through them, the entire human race. God instructed animals to come into the ark to save them. Noah was called out as someone who would be saved along with his family. There's salvation here. There's a theme that God is all about saving. And throughout the entire Bible, that's written all over the Bible, that God is about saving. And so God is so much about saving that God ends this whole thing with this visual reminder. God wants to say that not only am I telling you that I want to be a saving kind of God, but I'm going to show you. So God puts the reminder in the sky, that beautiful reminder of a rainbow. And here's the last part of the story. God's still talking to Noah, and God said, I am giving you a sign of my covenant with you and with all living creatures. For all generations to come, I have placed my rainbow in the clouds. It is the sign of my covenant with you and with all the earth. When I send clouds over the earth, the rainbow will appear in the clouds, and I will remember my covenant with you and with all living creatures. Never again will the floodwaters destroy all life. When I see the rainbow in the clouds, I will remember the eternal covenant between God and every living creature on earth. So God sends the rainbow. God gives meaning to the rainbow. And this is this clear reminder for everyone to see that God's promise and it is this visual cue that God's made this promise. It's not just that He's made it, He wants to prove it. He wants to show it over and over and remind us that it's there. So, who is the reminder for? From the biblical passage, who is the reminder for? It's for God. I mean, surely when we see it, we're reminded of things, but the Bible doesn't say that God gave us the reminder. It says that the reminder is for God. That whenever I, God, see this, I will remember my covenant. Whenever I send this rainbow, God says, I will remember my relationship with you and my promise. I mean, the rainbow reminds God, who is hurt by our sin, destruction is not the way to go. Destruction is not what's going to happen. It reminds God as if God is hurt, and God says, no, I cannot destroy. I'm not a destroying God. I am a saving God. And it's like God is committing to this. And God is binding God up in this reminder that this is who God is going to be. God decides that no matter how hurt God is, God wants to save us. Always. I mean, how amazing is that? That God decides to sort of handcuff Himself from doing the thing that we all would want to do when we're hurt. But God says, no, that's not the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to give them reassurance. I'm going to give people hope. I'm going to give people certainty that I am a saving kind of God. So when you see a rainbow, what do? Take a picture? What else do? Make a wish? Enjoy it? Yeah, I have never met somebody who doesn't stop what they're doing, when a rainbow appears. I do, no matter how busy I am or what's going on. I always stop and what do? You kind of look and go, wow. And then you see how far you can see it, and then you look for another one, and everybody stops. I have never met somebody who ignores a rainbow. And I think it's so cool that God gave meaning to this thing that we all pay attention to. Probably the most amazing meaning that God is all about saving us. Is anybody aware if they're a tetrachromat? I just learned this term and I think it is so cool. Anybody know if they're a tetrachromat? Okay. Tetrachromats have to do with seeing and how much you can see. Tetra means 4, and we'll get to that in a second. But let's do a couple little tests just to see if anybody is a tetrachromat, because if you are, I want to meet you. It's rare. Okay, so take a look at these circles, and don't say no, don't say anything! Okay, first, raise your hand if you see numbers in the circles. Okay, good. Now, what number is in this circle?
12.
Middle?
57. 5.
Yeah, it's a hard one to see. A little harder to see on the screen. This is a color blindness test. And it's just a quick and dirty one, but this is a test to see, are you red, blue colorblind, or you pink, orange, or whatever the other color blindnesses are. This is a quick and dirty one because the contrast is tough to see. So can we kind of see this now? Okay, here's another test. Look at these circles. Does anybody see numbers in these circles? Okay, look hard. No, not zeros. Does anybody? Kind of? Okay. If you see numbers in these circles, you are a tetrachromat. I'm bummed we don't have any. From what I understand, and I am, yeah?
Make a guess on the red one.
I don't even know what numbers there are, because I'm not a tetrachromat. You know what? You should do a test. You should do a vision test. So, No, most of us, and I'm not an eye doctor, but from what I understand, most of us have 3 cones in our eyes, meaning a trichromat. And each cone helps us see red, green, and blue. And when we see those, our eyes or our brains interpret that color, and they allow us to see the spectrum of colors. Now, a trichromat sees up to a certain number of colors, and it's an exponential value. So it's 100 to the 3rd power because we have 3 cones. So 100 to the 3rd power is 1,000,000. We can see up to 1,000,000 different distinct colors. So at our best, we could see 1,000,000 colors. A tetrachromat has 4 cones in their eyes. And that allows them to see 100 to the 4th power, or 100,000,000 colors. Now, from what I understand from reading about a tetrachromat or 2, they actually look at snow and they see colors, or they look at water and they see colors. It's wild. I can't imagine that. But I will never get there because men cannot be tetrachromats. It is only possible with the second X chromosome. That's the way that the 4th cone can, doesn't always, but can develop. So women are the only people who can be tetrachromats. It only develops in about 2 or 3% of women. So it's a very rare thing to be able to have this visual spectrum of up to 100,000,000 colors. And no matter how much we can or we can't see, how brilliant is it that God gave us a beautiful rainbow that we can all see in some way or another. And no matter how many colors we see, we all stop. And we all look at it. And we all marvel at the fact that God gave this to us as a reminder to God that God will always save us. And in turn, that gives us reassurance. God wants to be known as a God who saves. And I think even though this may sound like principles and truths that our sin hurts God and God wants more and that God is all about saving, these are truths and principles, but these are also very real. And I think we have to attend to these things. Because if we're not at a place where we're able to say, God, you are a saving God, and God, you have saved me, then there's something we need to do. Because I think from the very beginning, God gives us this kind of truth and this kind of story to say, I want you to know so deeply and so certainly that I am a saving God. And so if there's a moment in our lives where we can say, yes, I discovered that at that time in my life, then we can be able to say, yeah, and God started to do something new in me. I discovered for sure that God was a saving God when I was in high school. And it was at a summer camp, and it very clearly to me, in my heart and in my mind and in my soul and all parts of me, I knew at that moment, this is a time, this is the place where God is saying, I'm a saving God and I've saved you. So it wasn't as though I was learning about my faith anymore. I was growing it, and it was shaping me, it was changing me in ways that it hadn't been before. And that set me on a new course. And that really shaped who I was to become. And I think some people emphasize the moment and the minute, and some people actually know the date and the time of when either God saved them or they concluded that God is this God who loves them. And I think that's cool. I think it's good to be able to know when God did that. Our core team, our leadership team was meeting this past week, and one of the things we spent our entire time talking about goals and hopes and targets and things that we wanted to see happen over this coming year. And one of them that we settled on was we really passionately wanted to see new people be able to come to that decision that God is a saving God and that God had saved them. And we want RiverCross Church to be seeing that happening. And I don't know if that's something that for you is a time right now where you need to say, maybe it is for the first time, God, you are, and it's time. Or if there's somebody you've been praying for, and somebody that we need to keep praying for, where we need to ask God to make it real in their life, that God is their Savior. Or maybe there's a group of people that we need to be reaching out to as a church that we haven't quite figured out yet, that we need to be reaching out to and praying, that they might have that kind of conclusion. Because I think because this story is in the very beginning, this sets the stage for how important this is in our relationships with God. And I'm excited to be able to follow and to be able to serve a God who wants us to know that God is a saving God. So let's pray.